of my community and knowing that it is not it's not isolated to just my community, that it is widespread and that people are hurting. And in our instance, and I'll speak specifically for my community, and an African-American community, we're self-sabotaging. So we are hurting on purpose, on accidental purpose is how I would put it. Because one thing I've learned is that the resources and services exist, but we have so much gatekeeping that it's not reaching the people that it needs to reach. We're not teaching and training and sharing information. And I honestly believe that is what separates me from everyone else, because as soon as I receive information, I share it. I want everyone to be prosperous, and I want progress across all communities, because when one community fails, we all fail.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You're listening to Fat Meat Fridays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. One of the nation's best and brightest public servants, Dr. Kisha McCaskill, is our guest on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We know that you're listening in London, in Johannesburg, on the 5 and the 10 in Los Angeles, California, throughout the Chicago area. Dr. Kisha McCaskill, she's the real deal. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable, all month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we're your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in fighting for the rights of Black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars working collectively to improve the position of the Black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the Black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare Black workers for employment in high-wage career track jobs. The LA Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. And they are advocating for a fair deal for Black workers in the new Los Angeles City Charter. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing, or learn about union apprenticeship programs and trade registries, please visit lablackworkercenter.org. That's lablackworkercenter.org. Together, we can beat the Black jobs crisis and build a more equitable Los Angeles. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are having an amazing conversation with Dr. Kisha McCaskill.
Hello.
And even as I'm speaking with Dr. McCaskill, my phone is ringing off the hook from another very prominent Chicagoan. But I want to focus for the moment with Dr. McCaskill because Dr. McCaskill is running an amazing campaign. She's an amazing public servant. And Dr. McCaskill, I'm thinking in this moment that the people you come into contact with are investing their faith in you to go to the county and bring resources home, but also articulate their legitimate desires and concerns. On the one hand, many people may not know what you do at the county. And on the other hand, people at the county may not know just how close you are to the community and the representation that you're genuinely providing. How do you bridge that gap?
You know, I hope you can hear me okay. It looks like I'm having a little technical difficulty.
You sound great.
Okay, perfect. So that's a great question. A couple of things. So as it relates to the county, what I found is that a lot of people really did not understand what county government actually does. And I would surmise us to say that we are the stopgap. So when things go awry, it is the county government that actually puts those mechanisms in place to keep things going. So for example, ACA, they cut Medicaid. Many people lost their benefits or their health insurance with the changes in marketplace and other issues. So the county expanded services. So all of our clinics now have expanded services and a lot of free services. We have even for chronic. So we're doing free cancer screenings for men and for women. We're actually encouraging those. We also have free immunizations, flu shots, and other things just to make sure that the community can continue to receive what they need in the midst of all of the changes. As it relates specifically to my community, it's what we were doing even before I received this position. As you know, I was just appointed here in January of 2025. And it basically allowed me the opportunity to expand what I was already doing. So we still have clinicians coming out to the schools and coming out to the park districts to provide services, going to the senior homes to provide flu shots and other resources. So it's just an expansion of what I already did.
I've never seen anyone more than Dr. Caskell, and I'm impressed that she's also and has an amazing legacy in her daughter, Amari McCaskill. Gina?
Absolutely. I was about it right now, and Jesse brings up your daughter, and so we can see it's in the blood, it's in the DNA. She is a remarkable commissioner in and of herself. Tell us a little bit about how you passed this down, and I'm going to assume it might even be at the dinner table, that you passed of work. I'll come back to a question that I had about a comment that you made before we went to our break.
Okay. Yes, Amari is she is fantastic. I know that Jesse, I know you understand how legacy works. And when you are raised in a household and in a family where they do the work, you have no choice but to do the work. You engage because it's who you are. You're around it, you learn it. And in Amari's case, I am extremely proud. She has really elevated herself because she wants to make a name for herself. So even in her willingness to be a public servant and being, again, voluntold, so she has elevated herself to be a proponent in making sure that people her age get involved. And that is for her I believe that's going to be her flagship. She is heavily engaged in making sure that people, young people, that 18 to 30-year-old, she wants to see them actively involved, and she wants them to be ready so that when the torch is passed, they can move this ship forward.
So you mentioned a term before we went to break, and for those who are particularly in the entertainment industry, we're familiar with a term called gatekeepers. And you said before we went to break that, sometimes the things that are due to communities don't make it there because they have to go through a system in which there are gatekeepers. Can you expound upon that just a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. What we have to do, and what I've found, let me start there. So we have opportunities through the county. I'll just start with the county. We have the opportunity for people to register their businesses with the county to begin to become vendors and bid on projects. We have opportunities for grants, funding resources, and you will find that some organizations have been getting these opportunities for years. And instead of sharing the information or partnering with a smaller organization or a church or a school so that you can receive more money, which would allow you to do more, be more resourceful in your neighborhood, basically people keep it to themselves. And I believe that that is a catalyst that starts because so often people believe if I give it away, then it may be taken from me, without understanding that there's a much larger picture because of the number of people that you're trying to serve.
And when you think about that on a national level, what would you say the instance of that around the country is? I mean, I start thinking in astronomical terms as you're talking about this, because how much do, smaller businesses, women run businesses, how much do people miss because they don't know about the opportunity, because the information isn't shared and they don't know where to go to look for the opportunity?
I would simplify it by saying simply look at the town next door to you. Look at the town that's right next door. If the town that's right next door looks considerably different or more manicured or more well-maintained than yours, then that's an opportunity for you to go over and speak with that administrator, that mayor, that president, that director of public works, and ask questions. We have to be more dominant and more confident in our approach to receiving information. It's not going to fall in our laps. And that's the best I can tell you. If you ride through my community, for example, unfortunately, it represents a lot of the same issues across the U.S. as it relates to underserved Black communities. However, my neighbor, who is South Holland, has a beautiful community. Yes, they may also have some issues there. However, the overarching spirit of South Holland is beautiful. What did I do? I went and met with the mayor, and I asked him from a commissioner's standpoint, what is it that you feel are some of the differences? How can we help to make this better? Because I need to see it regionally. And he understood exactly where I was going, and he provided me with a plethora of information. I've also met with other mayors in my district that are doing extremely well in comparison to my community and other communities like mine. And again, it was the sharing of information, but also from our perspective in leadership. As a leader, you have a responsibility to go and get the information. So I don't want to take anything away from the accountability of it, but the information is there.
Commissioner, the late John Stroger, President John Stroger, whom we all admired and was a profound leader in our county, ultimately rose to be the president of counties across the entire United States. And as you can imagine, at this hour in American history, there is this evolution of devolution of the government, a return to states' rights, a return to localism, a return to strengthening counties and strengthening municipalities, and of course, by definition, strengthening states with less emphasis on Washington, D.C. And I'm wondering that there must be national, and obviously there are, organizations of county employees and commissioners who come together to discuss some of the national challenges. You mentioned the ACA, you mentioned the SNAP benefit programs. What has been your experience when these county officials come together and share the mutual issues, if you will, that exists that you immediately identify with?
Absolutely. So we have in county government, we have national organizations of county officers. So there are, that's NOPCO, and that includes everyone, it's bipartisan. So it doesn't matter what affiliation you may have politically or any of that. It's all about county government. We also have the National Black organization of county officers. And in both instances, what you'll find is that the concerns are the same across the board. There may be a few differences as it relates specifically to your urban versus your farm area or your rural area. However, healthcare is a national concern. Food insecurity is a national concern. Education is a national concern. And in most urban areas nationwide, economic development and infrastructure are a national concern.
I'm thinking in this moment that, for example, in a city like New York, you have the New York school system. And in a city like Los Angeles, you have the Los Angeles school system. And in a city like the city of Chicago, you have Chicago public school system. But when we talk about county government, which is obviously and usually larger than these municipalities, you have multiple school districts in your commissioner district, each of whom have different and varying needs, either based on income, based on property taxes, based upon where the businesses are located who are paying taxes into those local governments to improve education. These challenges have to be very difficult for a county official. Dr. McCaskill?
It is very difficult, but there are a few ways that we try to tackle it, because as you know, the county does not have any direct jurisdiction over any school system or anything. But what we do have the capability of doing is helping the community organizations, those grassroots organizations and churches and other entities to assist the schools. We provide the grants for wraparound services. So we want to make sure that the mental health issues are being met. We work with Greater Food Depository to make sure that the schools have places to direct the children and families to. We work with the affordable housing, pushing that issue, making sure that we have not just affordable housing, but housing that creates a community environment where the children feel safe. We expand our public health and our public safety programs so that our Cook County Sheriff's Office is able to assist the municipalities that need that additional support. So while we don't directly impact the school, we do impact the environments that the schools are in so that they can do things a little differently. But education is key. We are firmly, and that's one thing I do love about this new role. It allows me to get information firsthand so that it's accurate, so that when I am actually out teaching and speaking about it, that people can actually utilize the information immediately. It's not I'm going to bring you a packet and have you go do something 2 days later. No, bring your laptop. That's how we're operating in my office. Bring your laptop or we'll come to you. And that's what we do a lot. But being in the community and doing the work makes the difference.
We are celebrating Women's History Month here on KBLA. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Fat Meat Fridays, and one of the nation's rising stars is none other than Cook County Commissioner Kisha McCaskill. She is hands-on, and I really mean it. She is everywhere and doing a fantastic job. Gina?
I want to talk about that when we come forward.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More with Kisha McCaskill and Gina Towns when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Gas prices are soaring nationwide amid the military conflict in Iran. AAA reports the average is $3.69 a gallon, and California with the highest sticker price at over $5 a gallon. However, AAA says this means good news for electric car dealers.
Interest in EVs was the highest in 2022, and the nationwide gas prices were pushed above $5 a gallon on average. So in that year, 77% cited gas savings as their top motivation for purchasing an EV.
Meanwhile, the Obama Foundation is looking for volunteers for the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center during Juneteenth in Chicago's Jackson Park neighborhood. The need is for nearly 100 ambassadors who will be designated to interact with the public. And the Harborview Equity Partners announced they acquired select assets from the estate of Quincy Jones. This includes Jones's recorded music and publishing catalogs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the takeover? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers are at home tonight against Chicago. A win puts the Clippers 2 games above 500 for the first time this season. The Lakers are at home Saturday night against Denver. The Lakers are only a half game ahead of the Nuggets for third place in the Western Conference. Just in case you were wondering, Kawhi Leonard's streak of 43 consecutive games with 20 or more points is not an NBA record. Oklahoma City star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the record with 127 straight games of 20 or more. Shai Gilgeous passed Wilt Chamberlain Thursday night to claim the record. Tonight at 6, it's time for your Friday night sports fix. Out of bounds in prime time. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough for 60 minutes of sports chatter with some black folks flavor. You're welcome to hang out with us on the KBLA YouTube channel or hit us up at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Whoa, whoa.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Warning, evacuation in progress. Leave the building.
It's a total takeover.
That's what I want.
On Friday, March 27th, KBLA Talk 1580 belongs to the women.
Are you ready?
All day long, from 6 in the morning to midnight, the mic belongs to powerful, accomplished women, and we are not letting go. Nothing but the voices of women who inspire, challenge, and move us forward. It's the women of KBLA Talk 1580, sun up to sundown. I'm Dominique DePrima, and I'll anchor the day with a 3-hour live panel from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the state of Black women in LA, followed by women talking to women all day long about the issues that matter most. Our hosts for the day include Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Angela Reddick Wright, Raquel Graham, Angelique Francis, Tasha Thomas, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, Dion Raymond, and featuring special guest hosts Santita Jackson and Amanda Seals. This is Women's History Month, and we're not just celebrating it, we're amplifying it. Join us Friday, March 27th on KBLA Talk 1580, where women take over all day, all night. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and all of our socials for the rundown. You don't want to miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
To my ladies,
I'll show you how to work that.
You are the bomb.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580 host and African Focus Incorporated cultural ambassador. You probably know by now that every year our two organizations team up to lead a trip to the motherland. This June will be our 8th African Focus Trailblazers Tour, and it's not too late to join us. But if you've been thinking of going with us, now is the time to sign on before prices go up. Our current deadline is March 20th. Join us as we travel to a country widely considered one of Africa's most underrated destinations, Zambia, home to the towering Victoria Falls and the bustling capital city, Lusaka. Enjoy a visit to Botswana, known for its pristine natural beauty and stunning southern African wildlife. We travel in comfort with luxury accommodations, a variety of fun activities, and delicious dining. We do service with charitable work at a school and an orphanage, and we expand our horizons with cultural and historical excursions. To sign up now before our March 20th deadline, please call African Focus Incorporated at 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300. Or check out africanfocus.org. Whether it's in the community or traveling the globe, we move as family. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Let's go.
What if your rooftop could earn you money every year? With LADWP's Solar Rooftops program, you can get solar panels installed and maintained on your home at no cost and earn up to $900 a year. That's up to $18,000 over 20 years. There are no upfront costs, no credit checks, and no annual fees. Plus, you'll help power Los Angeles with clean local solar energy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Make your rooftop work for you. Apply today at ladwp.com/solar rooftops.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Fat Meat Fridays on our show, and our very special guest, Dr. Kisha McCaskill. Throughout her career in government, Dr. McCaskill was often tasked with heavy lifting of service implementation, oversight of multi-million-dollar budgets, and special projects. While serving as the executive director of the Harvey Park District, she also demonstrated her capacity as a reformer of fiscal management and service provision. Dr. McCaskill has also had the pleasure of providing innovative programming that directly impacts social, emotional health of youth and seniors. Dr. McCaskill is admired for utilizing her talents and platforms to highlight others and to assist anyone seeking to achieve their next level. We're honored to have Dr. McCaskill on our show. Gina?
Thank you.
Kisha McCaskill.
There she is. So, Dr. McCaskill, when we were in our last segment, we touched upon the idea of legacy and family, and I wanted to know how you do it. Was it around the dinner table? And I actually spoke with your husband earlier today. And, you know, you guys remind me in this moment, because I'm sure there are other instances in your life and your family when he's doing his thing and, you know, and you're having to do for him. I'm sure there's that give and take of it. But I was just really, really curious as to how you guys manage what you do and what's the dynamic that makes you such a dynamic family. And it's such an example, a shining light to so many other families, especially in our community. What is the recipe?
You know what, Harvey? We met on the.
Oh no!
I think we might have lost Dr. McCaskill. She'll load back in just a moment.
Absolutely.
Gina, that was a very good question.
Well, I'm gonna press her on it, but
Let me press you on it. What is the recipe?
So let me tell you what I left on the screen here was your press conference when your father passed and you and your siblings showed up and you guys vowed to continue the fight for justice and equality that you said was your calling. And as a family, and even on Saturday, you talked about the fact that there's something in the DNA, and it may or may not be in the DNA physically, but it has to do with a passing of a heart, a passing of thought processes that happen in a family that's really committed towards social justice and serving people. You can comment on that if you'd like.
You know, I think about Matthew 1, chapter 1, verse 1 through 42. The 42 generations between David and the 28 generations between David and Jesus. Not all of this, I believe, is biological. I think spirit energy matters. And so, you know, when I think about Howard Thurman, for example, who was cremated, I think Howard Thurman was telling us that the matter of the matter is not the matter. It is the spirit of the matter that matters. And so while we may be into, you know, ceremonies and saying goodbye to our loved ones as a matter of flesh,
yes,
the reality is it is not about the matter of the matter, which is the body. It is about the spirit of the matter and the ability to transfer the spirit of purpose over to one's loved ones. And I think my brothers and sisters, you know, are spirit filled with the life of my father and the life of my mother. And that really matters. And so I'm sure Dr. McCaskill has a formula and a recipe that matters. I think Dr. McCaskill.
She is back, and I want to bring her right up.
I am back.
Great. What we were talking about while you were away, Dr. McCaskill, was the formula that we talked about before you had to leave us, and the DNA. But the spirit of the matter is what Jesse just talked about. Is not the physical being of a person, but rather very much like, you know, Jesus, who got these 12 guys to say, you know what, I'm not going to tell you this. I'm not going to give it to you in writing. What I am going to do is take you with me and show you. And that's what, you know, I think Jesse was touching upon. And so I'd like to hear from the McCaskill household how that resonates.
Yeah. That is great. That right there, that's great analogy. That is it exactly. We show you how. I think everyone in our circle, even beyond our household, we like to show people what to do because we are firm believers in reaching back. So if I can equip anyone with the tools or anything that I have, any knowledge that I have, I like to share it. And that's what happens in our household. All of our children are actually doing exceptionally well. And I thank God for that because we've been able to teach them and we've been able to model what we would like for them to model to their children and even with their friends. You know, my daughter specifically, she's the only girl. I have 4. She's the only girl and she's the youngest. So she's been very protected most of her life because of her brothers. But she understands in her friend group how they select their friends and how they believe, and you see it in them already, that they're sharing all of the information they get with their friends because they understand the power in empowering others.
I am particularly impressed with Amari McCaskill. I'm not going to kid you. She's been very engaged in our efforts. And as far as I'm concerned, she is way atop my list for support to Springfield in either body, the House or the Senate, where she can continue to cut her teeth and carry the McCaskill name and legacy to the next level of public service. She really is something else. Gina?
Yeah, you got me all focused on Mari right now. I really did have a great question. But she's just so, you know, and so the question really was because something key that you said, and I remember that my parents' generation, they were very particular about who your friends were and very particular about watching you choose your friend circle. And that, you know, it's not to be any kind of way, but it is to say that I'm not going off the edge of that cliff because I know who my mother is and I can't push the envelope any further. So you do have to choose your friends wisely. And I appreciate that you said that as part of, you know, what you have had to do in your household in order to mold and shape. Because it's one thing to really pass it on and show them to do it. It's another thing to mold and shape their minds because they form their own beliefs and they got to be there when you get them there.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I would encourage any parent to provide their children with that particular space where they understand the need to grow, but they also understand the position of a parent where we have to guide them through various processes, because you want them to grow into individuals, but you also want to help shape the way that they do things, because it's so easy, especially in this day and age of technology. It is so easy for our children to be led in the opposite direction.
Dr. McCaskill holds doctorate degrees in public administration and organizational leadership from Capella University, a master's degree in human services administration specializing in public policies from Spertus Jewish Institute, and bachelor's degrees in psychology and sociology from Western Illinois University with a minor in African American studies. I do not know where she got all of this time for all of this study, but we are so grateful that she is one of the great leaders and public servants in our community. Gina, we have just about a minute before we come forward.
Certainly, when we come forward, I do want to talk about the last thing. As featured editor of the South Suburban News, her weekly column covering an array of topics entitled Coffee and Conversation with Dr. Keisha. Hey, she can be found. Where do you get the time? And so you're also a journalist, and we'll look forward to talking a little bit about that when we come forward.
On KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
My name is Tyrone Owens, and this is my home for 23 years that burned in the fire. Me and my wife, Charlene, we had this whole yard decorated every year.
This was the house that sparkled throughout the entire neighborhood on all the holidays. It's a community that will never be the same due to the negligence of the utility company. So I am pretty upset about that.
We were nowhere near being able to rebuild with our insurance. It's going to cost $1 million to put your house back up.
I want to get back to that point where we were before the fire. I'm starting to get emotional, but I'll work through it. LA Fire Justice has been wonderful for us. They're just caring people. We have all faith in them.
Big ups to LA Fire Justice, who's given us hope to rebuild 100%.
Advertisement. Douglas Foster, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. S&P volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an S&P open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. At the heart of the Al Wooten Center's mission for good citizenship and academic excellence is a desire to ensure that every student avoids the kind of lifestyle and overcomes the kinds of challenges that led to the murder of Al Wooten Jr. In 1990, founder Myrtle Faye Rumpf opened the center in honor of her son's life. In 2026, they are serving more than 300 students in grades 3 through 12 annually online and on site at their youth center and other sites in the South LA area. The Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center takes a neighborhood approach to the revitalization and empowerment of a community in crisis. The Wooten Center provides free after-school and summer programs to help students in grades 3 through 12 attain grade-level proficiency and promotion, high school graduation, and college and career access and success. The Al Wooten Center focuses on academics, STEM, the arts, and so much more. Join them for an enriching experience that sparks creativity and nurtures young minds. Tap in at wootencenter.org. That's wootencenter.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
In this, our final segment with Dr. Kisha McCaskill on Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns. Dr. McCaskill, I know that Gina has a couple more questions for you, but I should share with you at the top of the hour, 3 minutes before we get to the top of the hour, we always ask our very special guests to leave our nation, to leave our communities with a word of hope. So you can start wrapping your mind around that for the next 6 minutes while we prepare to move in that direction. Gina?
So, Dr. McCaskill, you know that I was reading the latter part of your bio, and there was so much more that we could have added, but certainly we don't want to miss an opportunity to let everyone know that you are a 34-year active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, being a founding member and officer for regional chambers of commerce here in Chicago and the Chicagoland area, Planned Parenthood, the National Council of Negro Women, and the Chicago Defender Women of Excellence Award cohort. So you deserve all those accolades, but let's talk about your media presence. Coffee and Conversation with Dr. Kisha McCaskill. Where can we find you and how can we listen to you, Dr. McCaskill?
Absolutely. So I write for the South Suburban News. The owner and editor there is Michael Taylor. It is a Southland-based newspaper with 15 publications. So it's pretty widespread. And I've been with them for about 4 years now.
Mm-hmm. And so do you enjoy that aspect? I think it's one of the ways that you're able to communicate the things that you are doing. How does that play into, I mean, and everybody's got a podcast. Also, so
I don't have a podcast yet. I've been told that I need to get one. I don't have one yet. However, I enjoy it. That is, some people have hobbies. They like to run, exercise, some sing, some dance. I write.
Well, and so since I'm the producer on this show, then I can have you back and you can get that itch for podcasting out any old.
Absolutely. If you ever need a substitute, I can stand in for you. Definitely.
I've got plenty of space.
Dr. McCaskill, let me ask you one more question before your word of hope, if you don't mind. I've done a lot of polling and I've been paying attention to the news. And yet I've also read and have come to understand that government closest to the people is usually the best government because it hears and understands the needs. But we are living in very, very different kind of times. And I'm wondering if the national politics, the national rhetoric, if you're feeling that out here in these streets and in the campaign trail, are they saying, Dr. McCaskill, I want you to go to the county and deal with Trump? I mean, I get all of our problems we have locally. Will you go fight him, please? Are you hearing that?
Yes. And again, when people are hurting, they don't separate. We're all one government in their eyes, and they really want to see us do something. At this point, I think that's the resounding call. Just do something, because there is so much chaos and so many things that are just have gone in disarray in this past 2 years. I mean, so the fear mongering has really crept in, but also the reality of how the cuts are directly impacting people. They just want to see the elected officials do something. And I'm hoping that hearing those calls and those cries for help will make all elected officials step in the way that I have, and even more for those that have already been doing, so to move things forward.
Let me just say this, and I know that we're coming up on your word of hope. In previous administrations, however, you didn't hear this vitriol or resistance towards the chief executive in the country coming all the way down to what you were doing. I mean, it was always you and the county and what the county can do. People weren't asking you to turn your attention to what's going on in Washington and raise even more hell. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but I think social media is the catalyst of that. I think people have become a lot more aware of what's going on. And I believe, and my hope is that it's going to bring people back to just a focal point of humanity and understanding how one person's suffrage is everyone's suffrage. So we must make sure that we're taking care of each other. But I do believe that social media has greatly provided a realistic aspect, but in many aspects has distorted the way that we look at things also. But I believe that has been the greatest impact.
Dr. Kisha McCaskill, no different than any other guest we've had on the program. We have a hard stop at the top of the hour. Please take your time and share with the nation a word of hope.
I want, I would really like for the viewers and those that can hear me to understand that it's not over. That in order to win the fight, you have to stay in the fight and you have to hold the line. I want people to be optimistic in knowing that there are elected officials like myself. I am not an anomaly. There are a lot of elected officials. There are a lot of political pioneers and servants and people that really want to see people do well, like yourself, being Jesse Jackson Jr., that legacy, and having created your own legacy and your own epitaph for your children to be able to follow. Those are the staples that are going to be in history, and every person has the opportunity to create those types of opportunities and moments in history. You don't have to be an elected official to be impactful. All of our communities deserve and have the desire to have people in leadership. The one thing that I heard, if you don't mind me mentioning, at the services for Senior, one thing that Reverend Al Sharpton said in his eulogizing, he said, "What happened to us?" And for me, that was very deep rooted, because it meant, for me, the way that I love my community, it meant what happened to us caring so much about each other that we didn't mind giving the shirts off of our backs. We didn't mind sharing information. We understood that if you don't have the money, but I have the facility, let's collaborate. Let's have a partnership. Let's build our businesses together. And that is the sense of hope that I want people to get back to, because we were not only the pioneers and builders of this great country that we live in, we are the future of this country. When we look at the inventions that some of our young Black youth are developing, with the nanotechnology and some of the treatments that they're coming up with, or the twins, I can't think of their names right now, who just developed a glove that can, with 3D dynamics to help you better pitch in baseball. But the intuitiveness and the creativity of us as a people collectively, there is absolutely nothing we cannot do. Now we have to establish, where are our leaders? We don't need everyone to lead. We just have to put ourselves in position to be willing to follow someone and have it be guided with a focal point that everyone can get behind. And I believe with everything in me that we're getting to that point. I believe that with the right people in place, we're going to see a lot of things change, and it's going to be the best paradigm shift in history.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to Dr. Kisha McCaskill on Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.